Uh, Good afternoon, friends. Chairman sir, past chairman Sri Ranjit sir, President sir in absentia, past president sir Chopra sir, seniors in the profession, and my dear friends. It is always a pleasure to discuss and share my thoughts with you all. This is the second year back to back. The EIRC is calling me, and I must congratulate them. They contacted me in the first week of December. Ensure that I'll always say yes to any dates that they are asking for. So they were also changing. I think in the month of February there was a change in the guard of this managing committee. Then also they thought it that no, it has to have a consistency, and they invited me in the month of December itself. Friends, Amarjit Chopra sir has rightly touched upon many of the points that I was going to discuss, but those points I will be discussing from the technology aspect. We'll also discuss few points where we also need to introspect. My entire presentation is like in this way. The entire presentation you will find is of 130 slides. I'm not going to discuss 130 slides, otherwise I will miss my flight. The entire presentation is made up in a way that up to 60 slides we will be discussing. Rest slides are there for your reference material, right? So you can use those that material. Now that material contains the information on the menu commands and the codes, right? With the important aspect that you can do it in Finacle as well as TCS banks, right? The two prominent systems that we generally find. The presentation that we are going to deliver or discuss here is basically on two aspects. One is you have certain requirements on an LFAR reporting. Then you always feel that how I should audit this LFAR requirement, right? Then assuming that if you are working with a bank which is having the Finacle, how you will be able in a position to do it. If you are working with a bank which is having a TCS bank, how will you be in a position to do it? So what I have tried is I've taken a few important actionable from LFAR, and I have kept that Finacle and TCS banks menu codes there, and from where you can verify those information. The second part, that the focus area for the presentation will be what are the parameters which are affecting the NP identification through system, because we have already we are being told that way. System will identify the NPA, right? System will mark it. That's far from truth, right? So what are the parameters which is affecting the NP identification? There are 13 of such kind of thing that we'll be discussing, and in two slides we'll be discussing on the second burning issue, that's the revenue leakage. Whether entire revenue has been recognized or not, or what are the reasons, that's the interest collection part. What are the reasons that there may be a case of non-collection of revenue? Reason being certain parameters were not properly fed into, be it be intentional or be it be error also. I'm not going to go any side on the intentional or unintentional. I only go with that way. If there is an error, there is an impact, and that if there is an impact, I need to quantify it. Let's start with this. Since I'm an auditor like you, I'll start with my long list of disclaimers. These are my personals and not to be considered the views of ICI, Regional Council, Finance, or of my firm. It should not be considered as a professional advice. Images, screenshot, menu code, software name, etc. are the property of the respective software developer or the trademark owner. Information contained in this presentation is not for the commercial purpose. It is merely for the guidance, and it should not be reproduced without the written consent. Now, few eye-grabbing headlines, and two headlines are from your city only. Right, last year. United Bank case, everyone is aware, right? United Bank blames Infosys software for wrong NPA entries. Right? That was the headline, almost reported in all the newspapers and all the web portals. The issue here is that if the software itself is having a problem, then where will we go as an auditor? Because on the one side, sir has rightly put up the question that we are getting 3 days only, right? At the same time, in the counter they are saying that just because there is a system or the computerization, you will not require more number of days. But in such scenario, till what level you can rely on the systems? After just 2 days of this headline, in few papers, the second headline came. UBI take a U-turn, says no issues with Finacle's NPA tool. Now the problems are more aggravating. Which headline should I consider? The one that was reported in multiple newspapers, or the second one? And what is the impact of that headline or the news item on an auditor? So you will be auditing a system where the bankers who have purchased the system themselves are blaming on the system. Then am I on a hotbed? I'll say yes. Right. And the third headline, very nasty one, I'll say. If RBI inspectors are, now this is not my statement nor any of the institute person's statement, this is the statement of Mr. S.S. Munda, RBI Deputy Governor, made at audit committee meeting. He was addressing audit committee meeting of ICICI Bank on 16th of January 2015. It was a general statement not related to the ICICI Bank. It was reported in Business Standard. If RBI inspectors are able to identify these divergences, he was referring to the asset quality side, in the limited time frame that they are on site, why the bank's auditor are not able to do so? Right, so now he is questioning the auditor's ability. Is it a question of efficiency of the auditors, or is there a much deeper issue inside that something to do with the transparency of the process itself? After reading this, right, you will not be in a position to digest that are we not efficient enough to carry out the audit? If that is the case, then we should not accept the audit itself. Fair enough, if we are not efficient enough. But since we are accepting it, we also accept that no, we are efficient enough. There may be some issues into it that we may be lacking in the training side or some minor part. But can't we harness that? Yes, we can. Right. Let me ask a question to you. How many of you are not having a smartphone right now? Then I think one or two people will raise your hand. Just this question, had I asked this question, let's say 5 years before, then there will be multiple people on the reverse side. How many of you have a smartphone? Right? Understand 5 years, ऐसा तो 5 साल में क्या हो गया, चेंज हो गया कि आप भी फेसबुक, ट्विटर के ऊपर, व्हाट्सएप के ऊपर आ गए थ्रू मोबाइल फोन्स. राइट, अगर आप एक मोबाइल फोन को समझ सकते हो, विच इज नाउ अ सो कॉल्ड स्मार्टफोन, right, then the system where you are auditing, can't you understand that system? Can't you go through that system? टैली करके एक सॉफ्टवेयर है, अगर आपका क्लाइंट यूज करते हैं तो आप भी सीख जाते हो. राइट, एक ही चीज है, थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग चाहिए, थोड़ा माइंड अप्लाई करके काम करें, 3 दिन में काम हो सकता है. और मैं करता हूं, इसके लिए बोला, आई एम नॉट सर सेइंग एनीथिंग टू यू, बट वी कैन डू इट. बट एक थोड़ा प्लानिंग चाहिए, राइट, थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग चाहिए और थोड़ा एग्जीक्यूशन में ध्यान रखना है. We can't do anything with respect to increase in the timing side, right? Max to max you can extend it by more 2 or 3 days more, because by 30th they need to that present their financial statements, right? 30th of April. So whatever are the timing constraints that will pile up to the auditors also. There is a point of discussion that why can't appointment should be made in let's say the September or the October like the CAG is doing. But let's keep it that apart. Let's focus on the system itself. So my question is, it is high time for us to introspect. We need to now introspect. Are we efficient enough? Whether the system can be relied on, and if yes, till what level? There are few questions. Introspection, you need to do it when you are alone, when you are thinking over it. I am just posing few questions to you, right? Whether the quality of audits carried out by CAs match the expectation of regulator? Is there any efficiency issue of the auditors? Which factor prevent auditors from identification of bad loans and reporting financial health? Is there a lack of transparency right from the allotment of audits to the reporting level? A very important one and the burning one, for which we will be searching for the answer. Whether CBS can be trusted? If so, till what level? Is this a right time for auditors to adapt the changes in the banking industry and commence auditing more through CBS and other systems? See, these are few questions that I was thinking over, that I should first get answer to these questions, and then only I will be in a position to do a better audit. Do we have a knowledge and expertise in working with the core banking system? Somewhat, I'll say, on a negative side. Right? Okay. So what we'll do is, let's start with this. What we'll do is, we'll understand with the core banking system part, basic concept of the CBS, audit activity through CBS, that's the LFAR part, and then focus area. Last two part, as I said, it is for you, for the reference material, right? You can use that material because generally you will not find any user's manual from the perspective of auditor. User's manual are available, but these manuals are with reference to the transaction initiating user, not for the auditors. and that is creating a problem for us. Right? Okay, let's start with this. What is core banking system and few advantages? It's a centralized database. All the transactions take place and updates a single system which will inform all the branches which are requisiting the information that, let's say, if I want to ask that there is an account in Delhi branch and I want the balance of that branch, if I request to the system will give me some answer. If someone else from Mumbai is also trying with that way, he'll also get the same answer. Reason being, source is common, source is the same. Right, then comes the updation of central database on real-time basis. The database is updated on real-time basis, except for very few branches where the connectivity is an issue. Right, there may be some time gap or delay in the transaction recording and the updation side. Report generation at the back end, and that's the beautiful part of the CBS. Be it be Finacle, be it be TCS banks, or be it be FlexCube. See, understand with this one. Many a times, काफी बार हमको एक question आता है that why Finacle or TCS is not giving us the report where we actually, the way in which we actually wanted it. राइट, काफी बार हमको लगता है मैंने ऐसा सोचा, ऐसा रिपोर्ट क्यों नहीं मिलता है. और मान लेते हैं कि अगर ऐसा कोई रिपोर्ट एक सिस्टम में मिल गया, मान लेते हैं फिनाकल में आपको एक रिपोर्ट मिल गया था, आप बोलोगे नहीं टीसीएस तो बेकार सॉफ्टवेयर है. रीजन बीइंग योर साइट इज वेरी स्मॉल. अंडरस्टैंड, दीज आर ट्रांजैक्शन प्रोसेसिंग सिस्टम्स, दीज आर नॉट रिपोर्टिंग सिस्टम्स. Right, there is a difference between the transaction system and the reporting system. What the systems do is, it records the transaction in a manner in which that you are in a position to extract information through the other tools, generally structured query languages, SQLs. Right, so it records in a predefined manner through which you can extract the information, and that is what the banks are doing. In almost all banks, there are push-based reports wherein on daily basis you will find the reports and the network folder. There are few banks wherein the access is given through the Finacle itself, wherein let's say for the Bank of India when you type Garuda, you will be taken to that network folder. Right, so all these reports are very important one. I'll always say that you just hold off those documents when you visit the branch. Right, now those reports will be, the excess of those reports will be that the branch will be in a position to tell you. Right, just inform them that you wanted to have the end of the reports or the reports which are available for the balance sheet closure at least. In that scenario you will find that location. In that location you can find all the daily reports. Now daily reports, I am not saying that there will be 2 or 3 reports. There are more than 60 to 70 reports in a day, and these are beautiful set of reports. Then there are modifications that have been carried out through the system. Let's say for Punjab National Bank there are more than 300 reports. More than 300 reports through Finacle itself you can generate. Right, but for that purpose you need to understand the command, menu code. One menu code will be there. Right, you need to ask them which is the menu code, PNB, RPT or something like that way. For Bank of Baroda also that's the same thing, Bob menu, there is a menu called Bob menu. Right, and from where you can get those information. Now these menu are specifically designed for that particular bank, so it will not work with the other bank. What we'll do today is we'll go with the generic menu which are applicable across the banks, so that there is no problem at all. These are the additional information that is available to you. Okay, now this is a pictorial form. You have a central server and you have all the systems connected to the central server. Few CBS used in India and world over. Finacle, FlexCube and TCS, that's predominantly used in India. Alnova in SAP banking, generally not used in India, but the other parts of the world. TCS banks, State Bank, Associates, Allahabad Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, Central Bank of India. These banks are using TCS bank. FlexCube, Yes Bank, HDFC Bank is using the FlexCube, and rest of the bank, barring 2-3 banks, you can say they are using the Finacle. So the thing is that if you understand Finacle and TCS